guys, we have a very active board today. And, we look back at the level when I said that we were going to put in a low on the 4-year divergence. This is the S&Ps. It was also near the lunar eclipse. I said, look for a 2-week rally. Could take us up to 58.50 to 59.20. We're at the 38% retrace right now. A couple of maybe a week and a half ago, no one thought we'd be here, thought we'd still be crashing. So I'm going to be patient and not put anything on here. I'm going to wait for at least 50% until I have more evidence that this is it. So actually left a gap higher opening. So I think that there's room for it to run further this week. And I said it's a possibility that we rally into the solar eclipse, which is next Saturday, which, when you have these astro events, you have to give it a day or two either side of the event. So it could terminate sometime late this week or maybe early next week as we wrap up the quarter and then move into April in front of the tariffs that people are starting to not worry about as much, saying the market has discounted them. But one thing the market couldn't possibly know, um, they couldn't know what the retaliations are going to be from different countries. So we'll just take it with a grain of salt. We'll just trade price. And my training says after an intense, pretty much, although it was stair-step and orderly, but an intense decline where many MAGA stocks lost 20%, sometimes more, and even the blue chip S&P lost 10, that I should be looking to sell 50% retracements, 61.8% retracements. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, there are a couple of individual stocks that I'm going to be focused on, and then I'll get to the dollar. The first one's going to be Apple. So Apple up a little bit today. It's trying to turn. It's right at that 220 breakdown. So at any point it could fail, but I'm not going to get FOMO here, okay? Because we could stretch this up to halfway is 229 and 61.8 is 234. That's one of them. The other one's going to be NVIDIA, something else I talked about, that we could see a rally back to 125, where it had this move to 25. So I'd be watching the 28 to 30 level and putting on some longer term puts when NVIDIA gets there. So let's talk about all the other outside markets. Really, the schizophrenic market right now, where signals shift from day to day, was a 10-year. Okay, so I thought we were breaking down, and then Friday said, we have a tail. So here we are again. If we get back up here this time, I think we're going to crack it. I've been a bearish TLT from the top. We had this little detour just like the 10-year, but it did not make new highs. Still think we're headed towards 88. And if we don't hold 88, there's a problem. Okay, so 88 would just be a normal corrective move. If we take 88 out, we're going for the lows at 84. So we're going to pay attention to that this week. Gold, I remember I said not to sell gold. We needed a pullback before to do some work and distribute. And then we need RSI readings under 70. And I said at the last high, even though we've diverged, this I don't really count as a divergence between these two because I need my cursor to find out. If you can't see it, the divergence with your naked eye, don't count it. So this was really the first true divergence here at all-time highs. You can see it right there. So if we get a rally now to above 30, 55, I don't believe the RSI is going to get above 70. I'll be taking a shot there. The reason I'm not selling the silver is because I think even if gold comes down, silver is going to hold up better. And this did go further than I thought, but I'm still bearish, this gold-silver ratio, and still think we're going to end up, and maybe we take out the high, but this is a pretty good level where silver is undervalued compared to gold. I think that's let's cover WTI because we have the threats of what can happen with Iran, with ultimatums being put out there by President Trump, by him sanctioning China for using Iranian oil. Um, China came out and unveiled a ship that is designed strictly for underwater cable cutting. Why would you spend $1 billion on a ship that could just go down and cut cables? Just something to keep in mind. So that's really the board. Let's get to currencies. I still think the dollar, had people long the dollar from 103 last week. You still have 70 pips. I still think it's got, 104 and a half, the max 520. I still think that's in there. What you could do now is you take partials if you haven't. Remember, take partials and then protect the remainder. You probed here. You took partials anywhere here. Could have done it before the Fed had the same amount of money, and you're protecting your remainder. You could do it under 103 for break even, or you could even trail it under a moving average. We shouldn't get back down under 103.30. That would make it look heavy again. So you could have a profit stop of 30 points from where the recommendation was put on at 83. Um, Cable acting a little better than Euro. Aussie, I'm still not sure what to do with Aussie. It still kind of looked weak to me. And here's the yen trying to come out of here. I'm not ready to short it yet. Someone asked me where am I going to short the yen. I said, well, I'm waiting for 104.80 and the Dixie for it to be my clue. So everyone, I hope you're learning the reasons why and the rationale behind what my thoughts are and narratives in all these markets. You don't have to be an expert in 20 markets. Find one that you really want to trade, that you have a lot of interest in, and you'll spend a lot of time on the technicals and you'll know it like the back of your hand. Start there if you're new. Start with one market. Also, don't go live right away if you're new. You can't read a book over the weekend about brain surgery and then go into the operating room on Monday. It's the same with trading. Be patient with yourself. If you're going to trade, you need to trade micro lots, very small leverage positions. So, if there's a big move, it's only going to cost you $100 instead of 10,000 during your formation of your style. So just like you have to be patient in the markets, be patient with yourself. But even more than that, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Bring your good stuff into the room and take a look at what's going on there every day. You'll never, as Mike says, you'll never be short of ideas. Maybe from me you would, because I'm certainly not as active as Mike is. You can see what's going on in here. He's following the calls. I'm sure he came in long. He's having a decent day. Let's take a quick look. Okay, there's his active. He has all these different screens, all the news you need. Tesla. Okay, he has a curated Twitter list with some of the best contributors on Twitter. So you're not going to be giddy up. Last night video. Okay. Can silver pop back up? Yes, it can. Never reached its objective. We'll see. So that's a wrap for me, everyone. Have a great day and come into the room and drop some charts in here, ask questions, and I'll see everyone for Turnaround Tuesday tomorrow. Adios.